Hello, my narc-free family. My name is Cree, and today I wanted to talk to you about an article I was reading. It is The Narcissist and Rejection. What happens when a narcissist is rejected? This comes from the site The Narcissistic Life, and it was written by Alexander Bergmester. I hope I'm saying that right, and I will leave a link for this site below and for this article so you all can read the whole article, because I'm just going to go over a couple of things that I highlighted. And some of what I highlighted, it has to do with rejection, but I think it brings out some key points about how to understand the narcissist in some other areas. So a narcissist is hypervigilant, and he says in here that they perceive a disagreement as criticism and every critical remark as complete and humiliating rejection, nothing short of a threat. So when someone tells us that maybe we didn't do something good, we don't see it as a threat to who we are. We might have some questions about it. What do you mean it wasn't good? The food I made didn't taste good. You might want to look into, what is it? Or, oh, maybe I need to practice this better or something of that nature, okay? If you want somebody's honest opinion. But the narcissist doesn't want an honest opinion. You have to keep in mind that their false self is perfect. So there shouldn't be anything wrong with them. You shouldn't have any complaints. They shouldn't ever be rejected because they are perfect. They are great. They are superior in their thinking and only in their thinking, okay? So a lot of times we cause a narcissistic injury. That's when we say or do something. Sometimes it was a disagreement. Sometimes it's something that we didn't even know we did. We said something or did something and thought nothing about it. And the narcissist may not say anything to you, but they'll go and sulk, and they will punish you later or be passive aggressive with you or give you the silent treatment, okay? So further on, he says, because this is what I found very interesting, and it made perfect sense to me, and I think it's gonna make sense to you, and this is why I'm reading from this article. He said, he resents his weakness, yet dreads possible disruptions to the flow of his drug, narcissistic supply. This, to me, is so important. There is an illusion that we need the narcissist, okay? Because we get addicted to the narcissist because they do things to, excite us and to get us hooked on them, and they present this false self. But the truth of the matter is that they need us to supply them or they collapse, okay? So this is a perfect way of putting it. I'm going to read it again. He resents his weakness, he or she resents their weakness, yet dreads possible disruptions to the flow of his drug, narcissistic supply. He is caught between the rock of his habit and the hard place of his frustration. No wonder he is prone to raging, lashing, and acting out, and to pathological, all-consuming envy, all expressions of pent-up aggression. So now maybe some of you will understand why they resent that they need us, because deep down inside, they hate you. I don't care if they're married to you, they hate you. The things they saw in you when they met you, that attracted them to you, that they loved about you, they hate that they don't have those gifts. They will never have those gifts because they're not willing to put in the work to get the gifts. And some of the gifts that you have are God-given gifts that no one can take from you, that just aren't for everybody, and they resent that. Maybe you have favor over your life everywhere you go. Favor is better than money. Everywhere you go, if people are giving you things, if you go to a restaurant to eat and somebody just pays for your food, a stranger, or someone passes away and they leave your house. These are things you didn't have to pay for. These are things that you got without working for them. That is what you consider favor. When you get promotions or things that you're not even qualified for, that means you have favor on your life, and the narcissist hates that. Okay? And he goes on to say, like a trapped animal, the narcissist is forever on the lookout. Ooh, I can't get it together today. Like a trapped animal, the narcissist is forever on the lookout because they're hypervigilant. Okay. Was this comment meant to demean him? Was this utterance a deliberate attack? And then he goes on to say that they get off into their fantasy worlds and their unchallenged grandiosity. So they take something as a very high criticism when it may be nothing at all. You may say, maybe you're sleeping with a narcissist and you say that you'd like to be with them more often than, one time a week. And they take it very critical and say, well, what do you mean more than one time a week? Am I not doing something right? When obviously you were saying they did something right. That's why you wanted to be with them more than once a week. Okay. But this is how they think. And these are the kinds of things they say. He goes on to say, he talks about anxiety and rejection. Okay. The narcissist has a limited and underdeveloped spectrum of emotional reactions. Anxiety characterizes all his intentions with the opposite sex, and any situation in which there is a remote possibility that he would be rejected or abandoned. Anxiety is an adaptive mechanism. It is the internal reaction to conflict. The anxiety is because he needs the relationship more than others do. To prop up their false self, they need you. I remember I was seeing a guy, and I didn't realize at the time that he was a narcissist. It took me a minute to figure it out. Even with research, it still took me a minute to figure out what was going on. And when I finally said to him, I'm done with this, and he knew that I was done with it, he started saying to me, oh, I knew this was going to happen, basically shifting the blame. They don't take account for their bad behavior, but he put it out there and to me as though I'm abandoning him like everybody else. But he doesn't see that he needs to make any changes, and that is how they think. They're in such a whole nother world that it is hard to deal with them. As a matter of fact, if you want your sanity, you can't deal with them, all right? The narcissist regards abandonment or rejection by his emotional sexual partner as a final verdict concerning his very ability to have such relationships in the future. He is assured that his partner was uniquely equipped to succeed in their relationship and he becomes frightened, okay? So now they think because you're leaving them, they're not going to find anybody else. Well, they are going to find someone else most likely, but they're never going to find you again. That is the problem. And they know this. They know when you shut them down and go no contact totally, they won't find anybody. The narcissist, anybody like you, okay? They'll get supply from somewhere. They'll beg, steal, or borrow a person if they have to. The narcissist is mortally terrified of being abandoned by his partner, and ignoring him can make the narcissist jealous. This fear drives him to minimize his interactions with his partner to avoid the inevitable pain of rejection. This in turn leads exactly to the feared abandonment. The narcissist knows that his behavior instigates that which he is so afraid of. In a way, he is happy about it because it gives him the illusion that he is in exclusive control of the relationship and of his own fate. So I hope y'all are catching this. He wants to minimize his interaction so he can basically kind of separate himself so that he doesn't go all in. Because if a narcissist was to go all in, there's a possibility that they really could connect and fall in love with somebody. However, this would make them vulnerable to being hurt. So they keep their distance, thereby they're always out looking for more supply. Thereby they can never give the person that they're with what they need, and in turn the relationship ends. Okay, either they discard you or you have to discard them because of the way that they're treating you, when you can no longer, tolerate their foolishness. So I'm going to read this part again. The narcissist is mortally terrified of being abandoned by his partner, and ignoring him can make the narcissist jealous. So you ignoring them makes them jealous. This fear drives him to minimize his interactions with his partner to avoid the inevitable pain of rejection. This in turn leads exactly to the feared abandonment. So it's kind of like the thing where the thing you fear the most has come upon you. The whole time they're with you, they fear that they're going to lose you because they know that they have someone great. They know they found a person who is worthy of love, who has character and morals, who is a good person, who's probably an attractive person and a kind and, charitable person. And so but they fear that they will get abandoned, and so they get abandoned because they don't change their behavior just because they found a great person. Okay, so I kind of wanted to just go over these points that he had in here because I thought it was important to understand how the narcissist sees rejection. And then some of them can be violent, and of course, narcissistic rage is something that he talked about in here, and I think a lot of y'all have heard about that. That's why I didn't go over it. I'm just mentioning that some of them will get violent because they're lesser or lower narcissists, and that's how they communicate their disdain to having been rejected. So y'all be careful, be safe. All right. The last part that I'm going to read, he says, ultimately the narcissist loses his partners in all his relationships. He hates himself for it and is enraged. The constant inner turmoil generates unremitting fear manifested in the form of anxiety attacks or an anxiety disorder. In the course of such life crises, the narcissist briefly believes that he is intrinsically defective and dysfunctional when it comes to establishing and to maintaining relationships, which is true. They are dysfunctional. They hate themselves for it, but they don't hate it enough to make adjustments. They don't hate it enough to look at this pattern, this revolving door of what they do to people and say, hey, I need therapy, I want to change, because they actually love the dysfunction. They actually love the disorder because of the power and the control that it yields to them, and the manipulation and all of this. They've been doing it for so long, there's no incentive for them to stop. It gets them what they want. So anyways, when you're dealing with a child, if a child always gets what they want because they start screaming and kicking their feet, and the parent always gives them what they want every time they do that, why would they stop? They're going to keep doing it. When they get big, when they're teenagers, they're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep acting out because they see that there's a reward of them getting what they want. The narcissist is no different in that regard. Okay, so you all, if you found this information to be valuable, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up if you've liked it. I look forward to meeting up with you again. Thank you so much for joining me today. Okay, bye bye, my beautiful narc free family. Mwah. See you next time.